So it's that nice, gloomy, perfect for yoga type day. So if you're here local with us, get on your mat, hang in a rag doll, start to let the heaviness build that gravity, surrendering more and more, nurturing by the breath. And we begin our practice, as we mentioned, through the doorway of the physical sensation. How do we know what sensations our body is holding unless we take time to confront and stimulate into those spaces? I like to say it, but in a pose, when that fight and flight builds and there's nowhere for your mind to go, but resisting and opposing and just remaining in that struggle, the mind tries to push back. We try to escape that struggle. But think about being at work and having 4 more hours on the clock, doing something strenuous or something tedious, but the mind is busy. So the body, sitting there in the chair, tense legs, tense low back, straining through all that struggle work. Me and Roman have been doing a lot of labor, but you have the program in mind. You see the plan there, and that sustains your power. But that's easy. It's easy to be carried along by that type A analytical challenge, that competitor in the mind. So we push that energy back into itself. It becomes cyclical. We hang into a heavy pose. We feel that nice sensation, and as it builds, tensions grow. Those tensions reveal patterns physically, emotionally, mentally. And in this safe, struggleful space, we're able to pick apart the knots, rework those patterns anew. Can't do that within the struggle and pressure and friction of the everyday life. There's not enough control there. So we emulate our struggleful life in a sequence of poses which represent that wonderful cycle. And at each step we notice, we give our all, we push to the edge, and we try to rework, reformulate. Now if you're just joining us, we're taking 3 more breaths here in a ragdoll, hanging heavy, allowing the breath to work. It is that simple. Breathing the stresses to release. Now take 1 more big inhale. The big exhale exits the body. And then the hands come down. Step it back into a downward facing dog. And take a few breaths there. Feel your down dog begin to build. Let the hands really spread out. Feel the fingers splay open. Maybe pedal out the feet a little bit if that's needed. Otherwise, feel that stability and let the breath be the element of change, influencing into the pose. Now from where you are, take 1 more deep inhale there. A big exhale in your down dog. Now come out to a high push-up. Hold there for a moment. Breathing, feel the control. Now you have choices. You can always bring the knees down if the low back's the issue, or elbows down if it's in your shoulders. I want you to take a few more breaths, staying strong where you are. If you need a little extra, listen up. You're gonna hover your right foot off the ground, and then you'll just land it back down. You'll do it again, left foot, breathe in, and bring it back down. Now take 1 more breath wherever you are. And then a down dog joining us back into that restful pose. Feel the arms align with the spine, those bones relieving the muscles of the core, the chest, the back. And then again, high push-up, inhale. And send it back to your down dog. Exhale. Let's do it again. High push-up, the breath now pumping and building. And then down dog, flushing every exhale. 1 more time, take a high push-up, but this time slowly lower down to the ground. All the way, contracting, scooping that tail up, and then landing it to the ground, nice. Keep your hands where they are, but bring them to fingertips there for a little leverage. Squeeze the elbows and shoulders in a little, and lift on up. Set a width between the hands that works for you. Feel the back muscles really pinching and pulling. The front line opening and your breath commanding that space. For just one more. In. And please drop it down as you exhale. Now come up to all fours, hands and knees. Kick your right leg to the back of the room. And stretch your left arm to the front. You got it. Align the body. Feel how the shoulders are squared to the earth. Feel how that back set of toes is aiming down-ish, just to keep the hips neutralized. And then from end to end, take a big breath in. Elbow to your knee, crunch it. Lengthen it out, and then leg right, arm left. Stretch them to the sides. Lengthen, inhale. Crunch again, elbow to knee. Lengthen it out to the sides. Good. One more time, lengthen. Now crunch this last time. I want you to take it long there, big breath, end to end, and then bend your back leg and we'll take the bind. Now this pose is deeper than those movements, but the bind connects those disparate parts, integrates them, and creates a loop of power and control, limiting instability and locking in to that rigid frame, through which you take 3 breaths, but keep it loose. Feel how the inhale influences in a direction. Let that feed, and the exhale in the opposite sense contract. And from there, take one more before you re-extend it. And for a gate pose, drop the hand, kick the leg out, and drop that leg straight down. Come on up off the hands, and let's slide the right hand down the right leg. And breathe. Different variations. Roman's got the heel pressing and he's flexing the foot. That dorsal flex allows control and engagement all the way underneath the thigh into the groin. So as you can see, the pressure isn't pulling those muscles to loosen, he's pulling them up and in. The belly's doing the same, and all that energy being dragged across by the arm, through the chest, through the sideline. One more breath. And then he's going to take it all the way to the other side. Land that left hand, maybe to a block, fingertips to help leverage. He's dragging that right heel. And what that does, still engaged, pulled tight, protected. But by dragging it, he's able to lengthen that muscle, and it doesn't need much. We don't want to lengthen the muscle by dragging it all the way. It's just subtle. And then he's breathing. And because there's engagement there, the breath strengthens it. Because he's pulling at that line, the breath lengthens. For one more, deep in. And then it's back to all fours. Take some cat and cow tilts. That should re-neutralize. He was deep into that one side hip. Deep into that one side line. Some real organic movements. I won't cue them. Just move and undulate. Dictate by the breath. And feel whatever knots just got tangled up even further start to loosen. Consider that your muscle is a big web, a network of strings. Now, when we do yoga and we stretch a muscle, you're taking a knot that's there and you're pulling it tighter. Now, what does that do? Well, it differentiates between the areas of the muscle that are loose, and it exposes and reveals the areas that are knotted up. But that's not enough, because now the knot is just tighter. So what Roman's doing now, less pulling and strengthening and engaging, he's trying to untangle what he felt reveal in that last strenuous cycle. And that's how the vinyasa works. We get into a pose, it's rigid, it's tight, it reveals. And then we flow, breathe, emote, and try to work that knot open. He's going to let me know when he's done. He's going to move it into a downward facing dog. But you can take your time. Always, you're at home, privacy, you can always lead your practice from what you need. Now, feet together behind you. Let's lift that right leg up and see what we opened there in that last sequence. Send that leg even higher. We'll take a knee to the nose. Very similar energies. Lift that leg back up. This time, we bend the top knee. Just like in that last sequence, except the knee was down. We're here and we're opening. Now we're using the strength of both arms. Squaring the shoulders. Keeping it all through the breath, influencing. Send the leg a little higher. And then step it forward, runner's lunge. Arrow pose is now. Ooh, we'll get the hiccups. Spread the fingers. Shift the gaze so the back of the neck is long. I don't know where your gaze is going to be, but you want to assign your drishti in the context of a nice long spine, back neck, little tuck to the chin. Feel the protrusion through the crown of the head. Now to the front of the room, reach the arms, same direction. And then we'll swim them back, right? Just to loosen up the knot, and then rise up to your crescent. A little relief comes as we take the challenge out of the core, right? Aligning our spine into gravity. A little relief builds as we slightly back bend, taking some of the energy from that front vulnerable leg and putting it in that back straight strong one. That is the anchor of your pose. The back foot is the cornerstone. And I know that because in this pose, it's exceptionally easy to hop the front foot. Just gently hop it off the earth. You could just land it down, but the back foot, feel how it took all of that energy and rooted it. That is the crux, the pivot point through which you're stretching all this tissue. So I want you to bend the knee a little more now, but pull the foot towards you and scoop up any slack through the groin tissues. Now from your belly, which is the strongest center we have, pull those muscles in, draw that slack even more. Above you, press the hands and take all that slack and take a back bend into it. And then place the hands down and rinse it out. It could be high to low push-up. You could land it all the way down. It could be up dog. It could be a cobra, or as Roman did, just skipping. We've done so many classes. We don't need the extra friction in the shoulders to open ourselves up. Now I want you to take a child's pose here. I want you to rest the knees wide and make this a very active child's pose. It doesn't have to move anywhere. The activity is your breath. That is what guides the movement of the body. Without that oxygen, that fuel, the movement wouldn't occur. It's not your mind flexing a muscle. It's your mind utilizing the oxygen so that that muscle can flex. Now for here, you get 3 more breaths. I want you to maybe give the forehead a little massage. Maybe stretch the arms and do something unique for what your body needs. You take as much time as you need there. You can always cut into the next phase. Come up to all fours. The left leg's going to kick back. The right arm's going to stretch out. Simple movements. We've done them many times. There's only so much we can do with the body. But in the moment, anything is possible. Emotionally, mentally. We could shift our ideology, our mental pattern like that. But the body takes a little time, so we're patient. Breathe in here. Elbow to your knee first, crunch it. Now send it real long, breathing in, end to end, out to the sides. Feel those muscles in the glute and the sideline, nice. Back long. Crunch it, it's a little rounded. Good. Send it out to the sides, nice. Back long, breathe in. One more time, a crunch here, really round the shoulder. And then long again. Now you're going to bend that back leg. Reach it on back, grasp the foot. Feel how the bottom hand has all that weight. Now I want you to lean over the bottom hand and then pull that hand gently into your mat and feel how that scoops up the belly. We don't want to stretch the heart open by dumping the belly. We want to stretch the heart whilst the belly's engaged, protecting, opposing. For one more, deep, deep in. And then re-extend it. Hand comes down, kick the leg on out. Gate pose, land it on down and rise up. Feel the left arm slide down that left side leg. Feel the right arm stretch. Now you could lift the ball of the foot like Roman's doing. You could press the foot down to safely work this pose. There's engagement, right? So you might even turn that foot to aim forward if it's pressing flat. That'll help to engage through the arch all the way up into the thigh. Roman's pulling those muscles consciously, using the heel as the only foundation he needs. Big dragging breath through that sideline. And then sweep the arm other side. Enjoy that long journey into the left side body. Feel long breaths influencing from the heel, the foot, all the way through side of the hand. And take one more big breath. And then just bring it back to all fours. Take a few cat and cow tilts. Maybe they go even deeper. Maybe something unique is added. You've got 5 breaths time. Any posture can be a vessel for the practice. Now, to find the edge mentally and emotionally, we either have to spend a lot of time in a more simplistic pose, or we leverage our challenge by quickening the pose, deepening its engagements, its challenge in an advanced sense. We only have an hour. So instead of sitting in meditation, we work physically so we can force those energies stuck to the surface. That's asana. Now come up to all fours and bring it back to your downward facing dog. Excellent work. Feet come together there. Lift your left leg. Breathe it in. Take the knee to the nose for a climb. Lift the leg once more and bend that top knee open. Nice. Take one more breath. Really lift it. And then step it through. It's going to be an arrow pose. So from a runner's lunge, float those arms, dude. Spread those fingers and just notice what feels right. Neutral is kind of palms aimed together. Thumbs going out, rotates the shoulders to open the chest, protecting the neck, lengthening and decompressing the upper spine. Front of the room, reach your arms, palms up. Swim them back, exhale, palms down. And then rise up, crescent lunge, strong in that front leg to lift you. Settle into that front knee, but don't dump into the hips. Notice that difference. If you took a full breath in right now, but things were loose, the breath would just push into looseness. The endorphins built, the heat prevents us from feeling the edge of that looseness. We don't want to get loose. Loose is how things spill over. We also don't want to be rigid. So flex the muscles, feel the rigidity, and breathe that tension open. Oppose opening by flexing. Break that flex open by breathing. And take 2 more breaths. Maybe you can above press the hands and really drag it back bend. And then place the hands high to low. Maybe you're skipping chaturanga. Maybe it's high to low, up dog, down. Maybe that light cobra. But we need it back down, dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Tippy toes. Front of the yoga mat. Step or float. Halfway lift. Breathe in. And then forward fold. Breathe out. Let's do that once more. Lengthen the spine even further. Deepest exhale you can muster. And then rise to stand. Achieving the longest breath in you got. Hands to the heart.